Well, the first day in the shop was really exciting. You know, most of the guys never touched a tool before, and we introduced them to the toolbox, and we started taking the car apart.
Yeah, some of the guys had never put a socket on a ratchet and never used a drill bit, so it was exciting to kind of see their enthusiasm about learning how to use this tool.
You know, we started at both ends of the car and inside. We had enough guys on the team, you know, with 7 guys plus the 3 adults that were kind of watching to make sure everybody stayed safe. These guys tore into this car. It was amazing. 6 hours and 15 minutes. They had the car completely disassembled and put in bags.
What does God, Guys, and Gears mean to me? God, Guys, and Gears is a good fellowship time for me. I'm always on the move. I don't get a lot of time. So I do some sports and I do some robotics. It's always good for me to get the extra time in with the guys, and it helps me learn to bond with guys that I don't know a lot quicker. And it gives me more time in the Bible that I don't get enough.
What was really amazing is to watch God come into this on that first night. And you see 7 guys that most of them didn't know each other. I think only 2 of them knew each other. And those guys come together and start building the relationship that we've seen come together over the last 2-3 months now. And so it's been really exciting to see how that played and how that worked.
God, Guys, and Gears means to me a place I can come and know that I'm respected by my peers and also by the older men that help us learn and grow in manhood, to be able to do cool things with cars especially, but also learn about God.
It was that quiet, awkward moment right at the beginning when the guys came in. Really nobody knew each other, and we knew they were going to grow close together, but they kind of had to grow on one another, and we've seen that happen during this process.
It was a great sign of maturity for them.
It really was.
And to watch them pick up the tools and use the pieces and learn and then correct each other. No, that's not a half, that's a 9/16, you know, or that's a Phillips, you know, or that's a Torx bit.
Exactly.
It was really cool to see that happen with the guys.
I saw a very nice group of guys that was very welcoming and just pretty much just accepted me as one of their own. As soon as I got here, I knocked on the door, and Garrett, he saw me and he's like, "Oh, you knew the program? Hi, nice to meet you, I'm Garrett," and just welcomed me, and I felt very welcome and at home.
When we started taking this car apart, these guys were amazed at how much rust and dust and just junk. There were trash cans full taken out of this car. Cool to watch them take, and as we used the plasma cutter, you know, that's a cutting torch, and they got to use that and started cutting out the rust spots in the car. And it was pretty interesting to watch them put that together.
Having a place I go to that I can trust everybody there and having it multiple times a week teaches me not only commitment, but it's almost relaxing because you don't have to deal with a lot of drama. And on the God side of things, not just taking words from a page and just reading them, but actually applying them to, like, in today's world situations, stuff that actually means something and you experience it every day.
We went pretty much through the gamut of deconstruction tools, and through the process those tools will change. Some of them stay the same, but we used about every tool in the box.
When the car came back from Media Blast, the guys were really excited on the night that we unloaded the car off the trailer.
We knew we had to get the car sealed after we got it back, the bare metal. We knew that would rust, so we explained that to the guys. They had a great time mixing paint, getting the primer and sealer on the car, and so it was that was kind of a neat experience for them too.
Being a part of God, Guys, and Gears means a lot to me. I've learned so much being in the program. I learned how to drill holes, drill out spot welds, weld, sandblast, do body work, body filler, just really pay attention to details, you know, deconstruct the car. Before, I didn't really do anything hands-on with anything. My dad's more into wood, and so I wasn't really hands-on with metal, but I've really figured out that I really enjoy working with metal.
We used an epoxy sealer that BASF provided for us, and the guys actually got to get in and spray and do get an introduction to the paint booth and the safety required in that booth. So it was really cool to see that happen. When we started this program, I didn't quite know what to expect from the guys. I didn't know what my relationship would be with them. I know I'm not a very good relationship person. I'm anxious. I want it done now. We need to do this. I'm a driver. I'm the captain of a ship, and I can make the ship go faster than it's supposed to go. That's just my nature. That's the way God made me. The relationships that we've been able to develop with these guys, it was an opportunity. If I'd have had the men in my life that God had surrounded me with as an adult, if I'd have had these men pouring into me as a 15, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18-year-old guys, if I'd have had those men telling me their real life stories, their grace story, where God put that hand down in that black hole that they were in, that they thought there was no way out, to be able to reach down and pull those things out and pull me up out of those holes and pull them and their stories and shared their stories and their testimony, all of that to say their testimony. If they'd shared that with me, my life would be a lot different.
Being a part of the program for me has really, truly been a blessing. And it's built my faith in such a way that I've had an outlet to serve. God called me to the ministry years ago. Things in my life took a turn, went in a bad direction, and I really was kind of uncertain how God would ever use me again. And through investing in the ministry of God, Guys and Gears, meeting Bart, and us just kind of hitting it off, it's been great to serve with a godly man daily, to pray together, and to be able to use the calling that God has on my life to invest in these guys. It's a tremendous blessing to me.
The relationship with these guys has given me the ability to straighten up my back, to walk a little taller, a little more reason to do everything right, a lot more reason to be in the Word, because when you tell these guys something, they soak it up and they tear it apart. You don't go back on what you said because they're going to catch you. So they strengthen my desire to build my relationship with Christ. You know, I want to ask you, what's in your toolbox? I'm going to tell you what's in mine, and I want to know what's in your toolbox.
Yeah, well, it's an honor to be here, and
Thank you.
I'm so excited about what God's doing. And what you're really doing here is discipleship. You know, Jesus said, go therefore and make disciples. So we make disciples in a number of ways. And one of those ways is being a godly example for people who would come behind us. So just commend you guys. It's so exciting to see what God's doing. So I grew up in the car business. You know, my dad had a body shop growing up, and had a body shop for over 30 years until Hurricane Katrina hit 2005. We lost everything. So I remember as a kid, he would let me come to the shop, and with a pair of pliers, I would rip moldings off and do more damage than probably help at that time. But he was very gracious with me. And then from the age of about 18 years old, even until the mid-20s, I worked with my dad. And so it was a joy that we got to work together and got to travel and sell cars and buy cars and fix cars. And so I'm the product of a man who not only discipled me in the home, I had a great dad. I had a great family. Mom and dad were great. So I did have the privilege of having that, but I got to see my dad work. I got to see the value of hard work. I got to see the value of working with your hands. And I think that made me the man I am today. I'm a pastor now. Obviously, I work differently, work with the Word and not necessarily with my hands as much, work with my mind. But I think those early formative years of seeing him day in and day out go to work really shaped me into the man I am. And so as a toolbox, what would I have in my toolbox today? I would say the greatest things we can load in the toolbox are the spiritual disciplines of our life. So the spiritual daily practices of our life. So for example, as a Christian, like you said, we have a toolbox. Well, Paul tells us in the book of Ephesians, the only tool we have for attack, now we have a lot of tools, but for the attacking of the enemy, defending the faith, is the Word of God. And so
here at God, Guys and Gears, when I'm here, I'm learning stuff every day. It's never a dull day. I get to hang out with good people and people who listen to problems if I have anything to say.
Before I came here, it was just, go to school, go home, maybe go hang out a night or two. But now I feel like I've grown closer to the people I've had class with and people I've been hanging out with. I've grown a lot closer to them. Gotten out of a couple of groups I didn't need to be in and gotten in with some good people.
Definition of a man for me is a man who can take his problems and do good with them and not be a coward. Like, if you're gonna be a man, if you have a problem, you don't run away from it, you face it. And with the grace of God on your side, you can accomplish it.
In my definition, a man is somebody who cares, but is also strong enough to take care of family, anything that needs to be taken care of. Also has integrity and respect, and doesn't judge somebody before they even know them. Somebody who truly does believe that God is always with us.
If you have this chance to do something like this, take it, because not too many people get to do this. Doing this, you get to learn stuff that you've never learned before. It's amazing, and I thank the Lord every day for letting Him wake me up just to do this.
When we first got this vehicle in here, the 51, it was a complete rust bucket. Everything was rusted out on it, and whenever Bart said that we were going to restore this, I was like, really? Like this one? This is the one you picked? But once we got through a lot of the metal work, got it all the rust and everything shaved out and sandblasted, and then whatever we couldn't get sandblasted out, we replaced with metal. Right during the prep work and everything like that, as soon as we were about to shoot the paint, me, Bart, Tommy, and James from English Color all got together and we said a prayer for God to just guide our hands through the whole situation, and whether it was a good or bad paint job, that we were going to use it for His glory. Not too long ago, or actually a couple of days ago, we got to the painting process, which is something I've been pretty excited about. But I didn't realize how much detail goes into just the preparation of painting, as far as, wiping the whole thing down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 times, and making sure there's not a speck of dust, dirt, or any debris or trash on it. And then not only the car, but then wiping down all the paint booth, because, whenever we have a downdraft paint booth, and whenever the air is coming off the top of the vehicle, if there's any trash in the place at all and a piece of trash gets on the vehicle while we're spraying it, it pops out like a sore thumb. And if you just didn't do any of those detailed little things right, how just a little mistake could turn into a big mistake at the end of the project. But even through all that, the BASF 55 Glaceret that was provided for us from BASF was just amazing. And it laid out super smooth, and the shadows and shades on the finishing paint was immaculate. And then learning also how to wet sand and just what all goes into a perfect paint job, not just throwing something up and saying, hey, we painted a car, but being able to have a car that you can stand next to and say every single detail on this car is perfect. It's been pretty cool, the whole experience, to learn about all that.
At the river, where the water's wrecked, they gave us different names to justify the ownership. Rules are still the same, chances we don't get, but still we're showing love to everyone that shows respect. At the river is where they used to trade our ancestors, how can we not relate? The story goes so deep, not looking for revenge, looking for solutions in the day that we'll smile again.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the open crown? Good Lord, show me the way.